Publisher websites. Now you can learn a lot about different kinds of publishers and what they do from looking at their websites, if you know what to look for. So let's talk about what to look for. Now we're thinking in terms of basically as an author trying to identify the right publisher to work with for a particular kind of project. And we looked in the previous video and in chapter 3 in the course text at what we call the rhetorical triangle of publishing: the mission, the audience, and the topic. That's the first thing to look for when you explore a publisher's website, is try to learn what you can about their mission, their audience, and their topic. So let's review briefly. When we're talking about the mission, we're talking about their purpose. What is our purpose for publishing and why are we publishing? So try to learn what you can about those questions as a way of distinguishing one publisher's website from another one. Again, they're very diverse, lots of different kinds of companies, large and small, focused and general, but they all have a specific mission, and you can learn about that mission by analyzing their websites. Second is audience. Who is our audience and why do they read our books? It will be obvious for some publishers and not so obvious for others, but when you spend some time analyzing their website, you can learn a lot about who they are publishing for. And then finally, topic. Some publishers are very specialized. They are aiming to publish books only on a particular subject or a particular topic. Their readers are there because they want to learn something very specific. Some of the larger publishers may be more general and may publish multiple kinds of subjects for multiple kinds of readers. But by looking for these three things, mission, audience, and topic, you can begin to understand what a particular publisher is doing, and you can learn a lot from their website. So let's look at some examples. So let me show you something on our course website. This is at publishinginsideout.com. I hope you have bookmarked this site. I hope you check back frequently. I tend to update the content on this site pretty much every week. So on the top navigation menu, if we go over here to publisher websites, there are a whole bunch of them. I think there are close to 30. I tried to post an example of publishing companies that you might be interested in. And what I tried to do was to suggest the broadest possible cross-section. So some of these publishers are large, some are small. Some of them are very specialized, some of them are general. Some of them are professional publishers, some of them are textbook publishers, some are educational, some are trade publishers, and some are religious. So there's a really good kind of spectrum of different kinds of publishers. Now let's just look at a couple examples. Let's say you're interested in one of these. You can read the short notes here to learn a little bit about them. And in fact, it's not a bad idea to just scan through this whole list and read the little descriptions to see the diversity of different kinds of publishers and to try to pick one that you would be interested in writing about for discussion forum for this week. So there's a whole bunch of publishers. I'm just going to start at the top. A Book Apart is described here as brief books for people who make websites. A good example of an innovative, focused, new model publisher, publishing in both print and ebook formats. So let's click the link. Boom, takes us to the site. So this is their homepage. And you notice at the top of the page there, we have a featured book, which is Jason Grigsby, Progressive Web Apps. So if you knew nothing about A Book Apart, you would very quickly begin to discover, something about web design, right? The description of this book says, Jason Grigsby shines a light on the power of progressive web apps. Learn what they are, how to prioritize and plan for them, and how they can help you widen your design's reach. And as you look down the page here, you see something called Briefs Collection. You see something called Typography Essentials. Typography, again, must be something about design, responsive design. They sell mugs, t-shirts, and here's some recent releases: progressive web apps, flexible typesetting, conversational design, and then at the bottom we have some blog posts, author answer, what are you up to now, and so forth. So we're beginning to get a sense that this is a pretty specialized publisher and that they have something to do with web design. Now at the top, we notice there's an About. And I think that's, if you can find the About page, that's often a very good place to start. So let's look, and I'm going to blow this up so you can see it a little better. It tells us about A Book Apart. A Book Apart publishes detailed, meticulously edited examinations of single topics. Reproduce books in two-length formats: standards, which are 100 to 150 pages, available in paperback and ebook, and briefs, which are 50 to 70 pages, available in ebook only. Both are the perfect size in terms of subject depth and coverage for topics ranging from technical to theory. responsive web design, Git and JavaScript to content strategy, design principles, public speaking, and more. The goal of every title in our catalog is to shed a clear light on a tricky subject in a format that's efficient so you can get to work, and fun because enjoying what you read makes learning easier. Thank you for supporting our mission to help you move the web forward. Now there tells you something right there. They use the word mission even. Our mission is to help you move the web forward. So we're learning about their mission, about their topic, and about their audience. Their audience looks like people who are involved in web design. They make the web move forward. Their purpose is they're at work and they need to learn something and they need to learn it fast. Hence the short books. Their goal here is to shed light on it. So they're trying to take tricky technical subjects like JavaScript or responsive web design and make it accessible to people who are going to go out and make web design. So we're beginning to get a pretty good little snapshot of what a book apart is about. Let's try another example. I'm going to go back to our web page. Go back over to our publisher's website page. Blow this back up. Okay, let's try another example. Again, you can pick anything that you want for this first project here. The goal is just to practice learning what to look for in reading a publisher's website. I'm going to go to a company called, where did it go? I'm looking for Stylus. Stylus Publishing, there it is. I'm going to choose Stylus Publishing because I'm actually working with them. I have 2 book projects under review at Stylus Publishing now, and I'm hoping to publish a couple books with them in the future. So let's look at their website. Recently redesigned, I might add. You wouldn't know that, but I do because I've been visiting their site a lot. So here's their homepage. What can we learn from the homepage? Well, right at the top, here's some notes. Leading publisher of higher education publications. Okay, that tells us something about their audience, right? Higher education and their subject matter as well. They are a publishing partner for higher education associations, and they are a distributor for Quality Publishing Company. Right here, Our Publishing, founded in 1996, Stylus Publishing focuses on higher education, covering such areas as teaching and learning, student affairs, professional development, service learning and community engagement, and so forth. So we're beginning to learn a little bit just by looking at this page. Now, their site is more complex because they publish a lot more books. They're much bigger than a book apart. But down here, we can see some links. New books, forthcoming books, books by subjects, books by series, book by authors, textbooks, catalogs. There's how to request an exam copy, which tells us they publish textbooks for teachers. Ordering guidelines for authors and prospective authors. That's always a good place to look because this often tells you, here we go. Guideline for submitting proposals, guideline for submitting manuscripts, a marketing questionnaire. We'll come back to look at these things in more detail in a couple of weeks. It's really helpful when a publisher puts something like this up there. So let's go back. Let's look at their new books, for example. See what kind of new books they have. Plants of the Victorian High Country, Bees of Australia, Reptiles and Amphibians. So here's some books: mathematics, programming, algebra, data structures. Here's something called Building the Field of Higher Education Engagement, project-based learning in the first year. So again, we're getting some diversity here from bees to teaching and learning. So let's go back to the homepage. And I noticed here it had browse by subjects. Let's look at their subjects. Wow, look at this. African studies, agriculture, animal and veterinary science. A pretty substantial list. They publish in a lot of different disciplines. Higher education, international development, Irish studies. So you begin to get the sense that Stylus is a good-sized publishing company. Now let's see if we can find an about page or something like that. Here's something about us, about Stylus, about us. We'll click here. About Stylus. Welcome to Stylus Publishing. Stylus Publishing is a leading independent U.S. publisher of books on higher education. It markets and distributes throughout the Americas. The lists of a number of independent publishers and leading NGOs, right, non-governmental organizations, and research institutions to bring you the latest work in the fields of agriculture, business, and so forth. Here's another, notice they use the word mission. You thought I made that up. I didn't. At Stylus Publishing, our mission is twofold: to publish books for teachers, administrators, and policymakers in higher education, and to market effectively to all appropriate constituencies on behalf of our authors and our client publishers. So there's this a direct statement. You won't always find that. You won't always find a mission statement. Sometimes you'll have to kind of guess. But in this case, they do have a very specific statement of their mission. And they say, we are interested in practical books, the exchange of ideas, and theory and research that promote effective practice. I'm actually proposing 2 books for a series called Thrive Online, which is actually for teachers who are teaching online to try to help them learn how to do it better. So that's a little snapshot of Stylus Publishing. So what I want to suggest is that you begin by just poking around on some of these sites, looking at a few of them, and then pick one that interests you and try to write a forum post about what you've learned about the mission, audience, and subjects for that particular publisher, and begin thinking about, if I was an author, what kind of a book would I publish with this company? Why would I be interested in them? What do they have to offer? What's distinctive about them? What kind of an author would be the best fit for this publishing company? So that's some kind of things to look at, and some tips on how to begin poking around and analyzing publisher websites. Thanks for listening.